is the kids' book that I'm talking about. It's called Big Things, and it's for the big brother and or the big sister, and what to expect when mommy comes home with a new baby, and mommy's just had a C-birth, and she's sore, she can't play with you, she's got to rest, and what the toddler can do to help. So it's a fantastic book. Actually, one of the mamas in this community wrote it. Her name is Danielle Forbes, and I highly recommend it. Not an affiliate for this book, just love it, and I think it's a fantastic resource to have. It's ideal to actually recover in the hospital because you will actually have time to yourself and nurses to help. So, first, expect pain. Expect a lot of pain. So make sure you're on top of your pain management, whether that's with icing or medication or otherwise. Yes, move. Your nurses will come and help you move, which is fantastic. So how should you walk? Like, honestly, walk if you are comfortable. Don't push it. If you're pushing it too much, you will know because you will hurt more. But your wardrobe, number 3, wardrobe. Make sure you have your compression strategy already set up. So whether that's an ab wrap or compression garments, and also high-waisted underwear, high-waisted pants, high-waisted everything, just to make sure you're comfortable with the wardrobe that you are wearing. There are 2 main indicators for too much activity after childbirth. The first is lochia. So that's the vaginal bleeding that happens after childbirth for about the first 6 weeks. If you've done too much activity, the lochia will increase. It doesn't necessarily relate to pain either, and it doesn't necessarily relate to a ton of activity. For example, you may have just gone up and down the stairs of your house one extra time, and that might have increased your lochia. Okay? The second one is pain. So maybe it didn't hurt while you were doing an activity, and maybe it didn't hurt afterwards, but the next day you wake up and it's super sore. You can probably equate it back to more activity. But for the most part, if the activity hurts while you're doing it and it continues to increase, doesn't dissipate, chances are it's too much. So this is not super common. Pain with your scar after sex for 3 days or more. Double check with your physician. I'm not quite sure how many days, weeks, or months postpartum you are, but if you're months postpartum and this is happening, I would look into fascial mobilization. It's quite possible that the pelvic floor action, what's happening is it is pulling on that fascia that is also continuous with the abdominal wall, and of course that's where your surgery was. Learn fascial mobilization. If you have any questions, you can DM me, but that's something I absolutely teach in my programs, my cesarean recovery programs.
So maybe I think this one should be an outlet.
So in the past, I've asked y'all about what do you find the hardest with your pelvic floor? Is it hardest to relax your pelvic floor? Is it hardest to contract your pelvic floor? Or is it hardest to coordinate it with your activities? And across the board, the most common response I get is it's hardest to coordinate with activities. So I'm going to share some posts this week about questions that y'all have asked me about coordinating your pelvic floor. And I want to know if you have more questions, if there's other things that you're looking to understand. How do I coordinate my pelvic floor with this activity? So let me know if you have them.
What was the last thing you just said?
I don't like poop.